In order to drive here in the UK, of course, one does need a driver's license, a full driver's license. Now, the people who come from abroad and they do have a driver's license from their home country, but that driver's license is only valid for the length of 1 year, 12 months here in the UK. At the expiration of that, you are not allowed to keep driving. That is why to get a full UK driver's license is paramount. Okay, I just went to grab my driver's license for illustration purposes. Hey guys, how have you been? It has been a cold while, I know, but I'm very happy to be back. And even though I've been away, I have had you guys in mind. Today, we'll be talking about the process, the step-by-step process of getting a UK's driver's license. From the very first step, who is likely or who is eligible to get a UK's driver's license? A person has to be at least 17 years old or at least 16 years and 9 months as at the time they are making an application. That's on the first hand. On the second hand, if the person is not a UK origin or a British origin, like a foreigner coming from an immigrant, the person would have stayed in the UK, will be able to prove that they've been in the UK for at least 185 days, which is equivalent to 6 months. Eligibility criteria aside, what is the first step in order to proceed to getting a UK's full driver's license? You need to have a provisional driver's license. Let's say you do not even know how to drive at all and you would like to learn how to drive. Not to worry, this is the first necessary step. Getting this provisional driver's license will enable you learn how to drive, as in register in a driving school. And something I'm also going to mention is, even if you do know how to drive from any other country, it is important that you check that their driving standard matches with the UK driving standard. And how would you know if you do not take lessons? So even if you do know how to drive previously, it's very, very important in order to get this full UK driver's license to take lessons under instructors here in the UK, because they will teach you the rules for the road and the rules obviously the DVSA people are looking out for in order for you to pass both the theory and the practical. For you to be able to get the provisional driver's license, you need to go onto the government website, the DVSA website, to make an application. And usually they require your ID. If you do have a biometric resident permit, that's something that stands as an ID for you, and some other little documents. Your home address, yes, that is very important. Your home address, where they're going to send the license to once they have prepared it. And pretty much that is it. And usually it takes about 3 weeks for your provisional driver's license to return. When I did mine, it took about 2 weeks thereabout for it to come to my address. And I, for example, I had zero idea about how to drive here in the UK. When I was back in my home country, Nigeria, I did learn a little, but I had no handy driving skills. So everything was still very fresh and brand new to me. This is something you should take note of in case you're a newcomer. Don't worry, or you're new to driving, don't feel frightened by the whole process. You'll get a hang of it. Okay, so once you do have the provisional driver's license sent to you, you can go ahead and get an instructor. When getting a driving instructor, if it's your first time, try to look out for someone. See, don't be stuck on one instructor. If you've gotten an instructor and you have 1 or 2 lessons, that's why usually don't pay the entire money at once. So they usually do it in blocks, maybe like block of 5 lessons. Start with little, maybe 2 lessons or 5 lessons, and see how you flow with this person. Because if you're under pressure with a particular driving instructor, it might, impede your learning process. Do you understand? So it's very important that you're comfortable with whoever is teaching you how to drive, because both the theory test and the practical test, which is the next stage of getting the driver's license, they can be very cumbersome. And if you have not done good enough practice that makes you feel confident and comfortable, it can really hamper your chances of passing your test. So normally, even from my own experience, when you go to these driving instructors to register, they'll ask you if you have taken the theory test. If you haven't taken the theory test, there is no problem, but usually you have to take the theory test in order for you to be able to do the practical test. So essentially this means you have to pass the theory test first in order to do the practical test. So you might as well go do your theory, get it done, and be sure you have your theory done and passed. So once you get a hang or get the lessons done with your driving instructor, you can go ahead and have your book your practical test. Now, speaking of the theory test is done online and the cost is about £34. Both the theory test and the practical test you're going to have to pay for. So the first one is about £43 and the other one is about £63 thereabout. It depends on how you pay, either online or via post. So usually people pay online. So once you get onto the government website to book your theory test, you go on there, fill in your details and select the date and go for your theory test. And this theory test comprises of two types. I'm not going to go too much into details about this because this is about, anyway, it's still about the driver's license, yeah, but I do have a video where I talked, at length about my own theory test experience. I'm going to leave it in the description, hopefully. So the theory test does have two aspects of it: the hazard perception and the multiple choice questions, right? So you have to pass both of them for you to pass. And the theory test, if you get to pass, lasts about 2 years before it does expire. So what this means essentially is for you to get the full driver's license, your practical test should be passed within that 2 years. Other than that, or otherwise, if your theory test gets to expire, you cannot apply to do a practical test with that theory test result. Do you understand? Because when you pass your theory test, you have a number which is what you use to apply for the practical test. So it has to be within the same validity of 2 years. And then the third and final process, if you hopefully by God's grace pass your theory test, then go right immediately and book for your practical test. I'll tell you something about booking the practical test. Getting dates as at the time of shooting this video, as at last year, this is 2023, I had mine done last year. I'm going to make a video of my own theory test, passing my practical test, like getting my full driver's license. I'll make that video. It should come subsequently, right? I want to tell you something from my own experience. I was able to get only 2 practical test dates in a year. What does that mean? After the first day, it's very, very difficult to get dates. This is the month of March, right? Trying to get a practical test date could be as far down as October or November. This is how brutal it is this period. So this is why if you get to do your theory test, ensure you apply for the practical. Even if you don't plan to buy a car right immediately, that is if that is the case for you, just to go ahead and get your driver's license, because when you have your driver's license handy, it's a good thing to have and it's something you get to do once in a lifetime. And as a matter of fact, your driver's license stands as an ID card, like a very valuable identity of you. Something I'm going to add is, if you do have the provisional driver's license, or with a provisional driver's license, one is not allowed to legally drive in the UK. So that first license you get that enables you practice and sit through all of these tests is just to enable you practice and go through the test. Practice with your instructor or practice with somebody who's about 21 years and have driven or held a full driver's license for 3 years, right? So what you need to be able to legally drive in the UK is a full UK driver's license. Okay, I just went to grab my driver's license for illustration purposes. So normally when you get the provisional license, it looks like this. It comes in card form as well. It says provisional driver's license. Whereas when you get to pass your theory test, you get this. So the examiner will have to collect the provisional license from you and then give you this paper as a proof that you have passed your practical test, after which they'll use your details already in the system to make you your own full UK driver's license. I hope you did find this helpful. If you still have other questions, or if there's something I did not touch upon, let me know in the comment section. Also, if you do have contribution, let us know down in the comment section. I should also make the video of me telling my own experience of my practical driving test. Watch my theory test experience in the description just to get a hang of the whole, have an idea of how these things work. I'll see you in the next video.